Maybe we begin at Boston Children's Hospital.
Authorities said they responded to Boston Children's Hospital on Tuesday night over a bomb threat.
Anti-trans hate and lies from right-wing media very likely led to a bomb threat at Boston Children's Hospital on Tuesday night. And this is just the latest example of their hate and lies directed towards this children's hospital. So in this video, I'm going to show you what the right has been saying about what's been going on. I'll tell you the reality about what goes on at Boston Children's Hospital, and I'll also get to the response from the right after this news came out. And, just before I even get into it, me simply covering this story, because of the serious nature of this video will likely be demonetized, will be deplatformed on YouTube. So it'll be harder to find, less people will see this. Yet the individuals, the right-wing media figures at the center of this story, continue enjoying their massive platforms on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. This entire thing is nuts. The way that social media treats the right, they are so afraid of actually doing any moderation at all, because these people freak out at just a tiny bit of being held accountable. Yet here they are. Can you imagine if the left did this? But anyways, let me get into it. So this headline here from NBC News: Boston Children's Hospital faces bomb threat after right-wing harassment campaign. The medical center has been targeted by right-wing campaigns that have gone after hospitals for their work with trans youth. So I'm going to show you a video now that is very clear. So this was put together here by Media Matters. So you're going to see here the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh, a right-wing media nut, and a couple days later, a report from CNN.
Today on the Matt Walsh Show, children's hospitals around the country are butchering, mutilating, and sterilizing their young patients. So according to Boston Children's Hospital, literally every toddler who has ever been born or will ever be born is trans. Now, if it seems like they're casting the widest imaginable net in order to catch the most children they can and put them all on a path to sterilization and butchery before they can even talk, well, that's because that's exactly what these monsters are doing. And they've done it up until this moment without much resistance from the public. But that has to end. We have to stop making it so easy on them. And that's why I'm in the very early stages of trying to organize a national coordinated effort to fight back against this evil. It's really just a matter of where do we begin. Maybe we begin at Boston Children's Hospital.
Boston Children's Hospital says its staff is being threatened and harassed now after far-right activists on social media posted misinformation claiming they perform gender-affirming hysterectomy procedures on young girls. The hospital says it's not true. They do not perform those procedures for anyone under the age of 18. Boston Children's Hospital says it is proud, though, to be home to the first pediatric and adolescent transgender health program in the United States. The hospital, though, now is working with law enforcement to try to better protect its staff in the face of these lies.
All right, so in a bit here, I will discuss more examples of how the right have been engaging in stochastic terrorism. That's what this is. This is an example of stochastic terrorism. I will discuss more about that. First here, look, this video couldn't be any more clear. You have Matt Walsh here directly targeting Boston Children's Hospital, saying that's where we start. This obvious targeted harassment campaign, and 2 days later leads to people being targeted that work at the hospital. Yet these individuals, Matt Walsh continues enjoying his YouTube channel, his Twitter account, his Facebook page, no moderation, nothing at all. They aren't being touched. Yet videos discussing this and exposing their bullshit, they're the ones. Videos like this will be deplatformed, demonetized, because we are discussing what they are doing. And they claim that social media has a left-wing bias. Are you kidding me? Completely nuts. More here. So this is, as I said, just the latest example. This bomb threat, just the latest example of what's been going on. You saw from that CNN piece there that this wasn't the first time they were targeted. So this piece from NBC News from August 16th here. Boston Children's Hospital warns employees over far-right online harassment campaign. The hospital became the target in recent weeks of activists who made a variety of false claims about medical treatment provided to young transgender people. Going on to say here, the Public Relations Office of Boston Children's Hospital sent an email to employees with guidance on how to respond to harassment and threats earlier this week, citing a, quote, increase of threatening and aggressive phone calls and emails sent to the hospital commenting on treatment of transgender patients. The email was confirmed to NBC News by a current employee. So first, let's debunk this garbage. So it isn't just Matt Walsh. Other right-wing nutjobs have come out to target Boston Children's Hospital. From PolitiFact here, a viral tweet falsely claims that a pediatric hospital is offering surgical treatment for transgender children. Quote, Boston Children's Hospital is now offering gender-affirming hysterectomies for young girls, read an August 11th tweet from Libs of TikTok, a conservative Twitter account with more than 1 million followers. Quote, this is monstrous. Stephen Miller, who worked in the Trump administration, tweeted in a reply to Libs of TikTok, quote, how does anyone involved in this still have a medical license? Because you're all full of shit. Here's the reality. No, Boston Children's Hospital doesn't provide hysterectomies for children. To qualify for a gender-affirming hysterectomy at Boston Children's Hospital, patients must be 18 or older and must have a letter from a medical doctor stating they have persistent, well-documented gender dysphoria. So these people just straight up lie. Whether it's Matt Walsh, whether it's Libs of TikTok, just straight up lie in their targeted harassment campaign, their anti-trans hatred, targeting the most marginalized individuals in society for no reason at all. And they continue enjoying their massive platforms, continue being able to spread this hatred that is now resulting in real world suffering, be it an increase in hate crimes, be it threats and harassment like this. So Matt Walsh replied to this story about the bomb threat. You're going to be shocked that he is not apologizing. Of course. Instead he wants you to apologize for saying that he has anything at all to do with this. Or not even that, actually. Let me read his tweet. This is so completely disconnected from reality. Last night, thousands of idiot leftists were absurdly blaming me and Libs of TikTok for a bomb threat at Boston Children's. Today, the story has disappeared because police quickly determined the whole thing was a false alarm. I don't expect we'll get any apologies, though. Matt Walsh wants an apology because there wasn't a real bomb. What do you say to this lunacy? Of course, he has to find a way, like conservatives do, has to find a way to play the victim. Here he is victimizing others, having targeted harassment of others, yet he found a way to play the victim. Actually, no, you should apologize to me because there wasn't a real bomb. Complete insanity. And look, I shouldn't even say insane. These people are not insane. They are just terrible, terrible individuals. These are terrible people that do not care at all about how they use their platform and how that may impact people listening to them. All they care about is making their money. It's disgusting. Now, as I said earlier, this is stochastic terrorism. So, as described by leading scholars, stochastic terrorism involves the use of mass media to provoke random acts of ideologically motivated violence that are statistically predictable but individually unpredictable. Such speech is plausibly related to violent outcomes and yet falls outside direct forms of incitement. The gray area brought to light by this particular security risk raise interesting philosophical questions about language, harm, responsibility, rationality, and freedom. And this is a whole other discussion, this part here, but it's not illegal. Stochastic terrorism is not illegal. And if it were to be made illegal, I guess there's a threat there potentially of things that aren't actually stochastic terrorism being pulled into it because it is a gray area, even though they are clearly targeting certain individuals, certain places. They aren't telling people to go there and threaten a bomb or go there and attack people, but they are focusing on these issues and making them seem like this is like the end of the world. This is the most important thing in the world. We have to deal with this, but they don't do that extra step of telling anybody what to do. So they aren't actually inciting any violence, yet they make this their entire focus and make it seem like it's the biggest thing in the world, while of course lying the entire time. So this is why social media accounts should be stepping in. This is their responsibility. Now, look, their platforms, they can decide how they want to moderate their platforms, of course. There is no directive from government or anybody else on how they should operate. But if they actually claim to care about how people use their platforms, their massive audiences, what they tell them to do or how they speak to them, how do you not deal with people like this? With Matt Walsh, with Steven Crowder, these horrible individuals that consistently engage in this sort of targeted harassment of marginalized communities. How do you let this continue to, and not even just let it continue to go on? We're talking about these people trend. Their videos get millions of views. It's completely insane. And of course, this isn't the only example of this. So more here from The Advocate. One can find an example of stochastic terrorism in the attack on a Cincinnati Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, field office days ago, inspired by anti-FBI rhetoric. Immediately after the news broke last week that the FBI had searched former President Donald Trump's Palm Beach, Florida home, Mar-a-Lago, right-wingers, including politicians, began attacking the FBI. In June, a group of men interrupted a drag queen story hour at a library in San Francisco Bay Area after libs of TikTok highlighted the event to its more than 1 million followers. The men, who police believe to be part of the far-right Proud Boys, yelled homophobic and anti-LGBTQ plus slurs. And I should mention, by the way, Proud Boys is considered a terrorist organization in Canada, but the U.S. allows them to continue operating. In Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, a potentially violent incident was thwarted when an eagle-eyed citizen spotted a large group of men wearing khakis and blue shirts with baseball caps and face coverings with riot shields and other gear, loading a U-Haul truck headed toward an LGBTQ plus pride celebration, and called authorities. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which monitors and tracks extremist groups like Patriot Front, libs of TikTok hyped the Pride in the Park event in the small Idaho town in advance, which led to several groups of right-wing radicals targeting it, including Patriot Front. So, several more examples here of how right-wing social media or media accounts have targeted individual events, people, places, and that has directly led to incidents like this.